Fox spirits compared. Gumiho vs Kitsune vs Huli Jing, who really wins? Have you ever wondered why, across Korea, Japan, and China, stories of magical, shape-shifting fox spirits arise again and again? What is it about these legendary creatures that has captured imaginations for centuries? And just how different are these fox spirits from each other? Today, we'll pit the Korean Gumiho, the Japanese Kitsune, and the Chinese Huli Jing against each other to answer one powerful question: who really wins? Let's begin in a time before the internet, before skyscrapers, before even written history. Back to an age when forested mountains and wild spirits ruled East Asia. In the flickering light of a campfire or a village lantern, old stories warn listeners, beware the clever fox. She can wear 1,000 faces. She can entrance, enchant, and destroy. But where do these stories come from, and how did they develop such deep and distinct personalities in each culture? We begin, as most fox legends do, with China, the birthplace of the Huli Jing. These are the oldest fox spirits we know of, with roots in stories that go back at least 2,000 years. In Chinese folklore, even the earliest scrolls speak of foxes that live for hundreds of years and gain extraordinary powers. Over time, the wild fox becomes the magical Huli Jing. When a fox reaches 50 years of age, the myth goes, it can transform into a woman. At 100, it takes on more powerful disguises, even that of a beautiful or powerful man. But real power comes at 1,000 years, when the fox earns its 9th tail and ascends, sometimes to the heavens themselves. In China's earliest records, the Huli Jing is neither fully good nor fully evil. Sometimes she seduces and destroys emperors. In other stories, she protects families, bringing fortune, health, and wisdom as a spirit guide. One of the most infamous Huli Jing is Daji, the legendary consort of the tyrannical last king of the Shang dynasty. Daji, transformed into a cruel beauty, is said to have driven the king to such acts of decadence and perversion that it toppled the dynasty. She created elaborate tortures like the bronze toaster and delighted in others' suffering. For centuries, Daji has remained a cautionary symbol, blamed for the fall of a great civilization. But not all Huli Jing are villains. Others are wise teachers, lovers, or even honored ancestors. In Taoist thought, a fox spirit can cultivate virtue and transcend evil, but it can also indulge in its wild, chaotic nature, just like humans. Let's leap over to Japan, the misty islands where Kitsune spin their magic into the heart of the nation's myths. The Japanese Kitsune is directly inspired by China's Huli Jing, but quickly takes on a life of its own. Here, the fox spirit is multifaceted, sometimes mischievous, sometimes benevolent, sometimes loving, other times deadly. Kitsune is a word that carries weight, promise, and warning. In Shinto, Japan's native religion, Kitsune are considered messengers of Inari Akami, the deity of rice, agriculture, and prosperity. Sacred white foxes with glistening fur are honored at thousands of shrines across the country. These are Zenko, the good foxes, and they are believed to bless, protect, and even transform the fate of those who honor them. In other stories, Kitsune are mischievous tricksters, or yako, who use their powers to confuse drunken travelers, play pranks on arrogant samurai, or lead wandering souls astray at night. The most famous version, Kitsunebai, or fox fire, ghostly blue flames that appear on lonely roads to lure travelers into the unknown. Some stories warn of Kitsune possession, where a powerful fox spirit overtakes a person, changing their voice, their behavior, even their thoughts. Famous foxes like Tamamonomi are so powerful, they reshape Japanese history. Tamamonomi was said to be a beautiful courtesan in the imperial court, until sickness and death followed wherever she went. Discovered to be a fox in disguise, she became a symbol of beauty, decadence, and ultimately destruction. Kitsune, like their Chinese ancestors, gain power and tails as they age. A one-tailed fox is mischievous. A three-tailed fox, powerful. A nine-tailed kitsune can see and hear everything on Earth. Some tales claim that with each tail comes wisdom, magical strength, and supernatural insight. But the kitsune's greatest magic, transformation. Unlike the Gumiho, kitsune can take on countless guises, old men, young maidens, or even other animals. The only giveaway is sometimes a hidden fox tail, or shadows that betray their real shape. Now let's journey to Korea, where the fox is perhaps more feared than revered. Enter the Gumiho, the iconic nine-tailed fox of Korean legend. In nearly every folktale, the Gumiho is portrayed as an eerie, beautiful woman with an insatiable hunger. Unlike the Huli Jing or Kitsune, the Gumiho rarely helps or blesses humans. Instead, she stalks the forests, disguising herself to lure young men. The price for falling under her spell is grim. The Gumiho feeds on the livers or hearts of her victims, gaining strength and prolonging her unnatural life. Why is the Korean Gumiho so much darker? It may be due, in part, to shamanistic traditions and Confucian values emphasizing restraint and the dangers of unchecked desire. Korean folklore often uses the Gumiho as a warning tale. Beware of charm without substance, of beauty that hides mortal danger. Yet, even within Korea, interpretations are changing. Modern tales and television dramas reimagine the Gumiho as tragic, misunderstood, or even romantic. In some stories, a Gumiho might abstain from killing for 1,000 days in hopes of becoming truly human, exploring the border between beast and person. So, 3 fox spirits, 3 cultures, and 3 truly different worldviews. But who really wins when we compare them? Let's break it down in detail. First, let's compare their origins. The Huli Jing has the oldest roots, stretching back to China's Han Dynasty and beyond. The tale's migration from China to Japan and Korea is well documented in old manuscripts and through oral tradition. Early records from the Nikkei, an ancient Japanese chronicle, show the Chinese concept arriving via Buddhist monks and traveling merchants who brought tales of magic, spirits, and gods. Over time, each country adapted the fox to suit local customs. In Japan, Kitsune tales are inseparable from the landscape. Fox shrines, sometimes thousands in a single prefecture, dot the countryside. Offerings of fried tofu, Kitsune's favorite food, are given in hopes of protection or luck. Even today, the imagery of the fox with a key in its mouth, opening the rice granary, endures as a national symbol of blessing. In Korea, the Gumiho appears in classical literature such as the Samguk Yusa and later in Joseon-era folk tales. These stories always emphasize the fox's age and the long quest to achieve 9 tails, but also include reminders of the Gumiho's monstrous appetite and how, at times, she might fall in love with a human, struggling to overcome her bloodlust. Next, let's examine their abilities and powers. The fox spirit is first and foremost a shapeshifter. All 3 can flawlessly become human, yet each culture's shapeshifting comes with unique characteristics. The Huli Jing can change into human men and women, but also into monks, scholars, or even entire communities. Some stories say that a Huli Jing can possess or enchant anyone who consumes its enchanted meat, or that it can vanish in a puff of smoke, leaving only a swirl of cherry blossoms. The Kitsune's transformations are renowned for their creativity and subtlety. They fool entire villages for years, creating homes, families, and social positions. But there is always an element of duality. Kitsune are drawn to crossroads, boundaries, and moments of change. If you look closely, you might see their reflection in water revealing a fox's face, or spot the tip of a tail through a kimono. Their powers aren't limited to illusions, though. Kitsune are masters of kitsunebai, conjuring floating orbs of light that dance through rice paddies or above graveyards. They can possess people, especially young women, and often use this power to pass secret messages, steal food, or wreak havoc on enemies. The Gumiho's transformations are more predatory, more dangerous. Gumiho might appear as a lost daughter, a beautiful maiden, or even a crying child in the woods. Folk tales warn travelers never to approach anyone alone at night, lest they fall under the Gumiho's spell. The Gumiho's supernatural strength is rooted in their fox bead, a mystical marble called Yowu Gyusul. This bead contains their essence and knowledge. Some stories say it can heal, grant wisdom, or destroy. The Gumiho can even force-feed this bead to a victim, stealing their soul in a single ghostly breath. Each fox spirit has distinct weaknesses. In Chinese lore, a Huli Jing can be weakened by exposing its true tail or by reciting Taoist chants corrupting its magic. In Japan, a kitsune may be driven away by dogs, natural enemies of foxes, or by rice, the sacred gift of Inari. In Korea, the Gumiho is sometimes undone by compassion, falling in love with a human and losing its taste for blood, or by failing to abstain from killing long enough to become mortal. Let's turn to motivations. The Huli Jing's aim is often power, sometimes becoming human, sometimes seducing a king, sometimes seeking immortality as a celestial being. Huli Jing may willingly help scholars achieve higher understanding or topple kingdoms to amuse themselves. Kitsune run the gamut. Some follow their divine calling as messengers, protecting crops, families, and shrines. Others seek excitement, tricking or teaching arrogant mortals a lesson. Still others desire companionship, taking human lovers for decades. Many of Japan's classic kitsune tales end with the fox's identity revealed, the mortal's heart broken, and both forced to go their separate ways. The Gumiho's motivation is more singular but no less fascinating: the desperate quest to become human, and the struggle to resist monstrous appetites. Some stories make the Gumiho irredeemable, a perpetual villain. Others reframe her as a lonely figure, searching for acceptance, desperately hoping her love or willpower can conquer the curse of the fox. For all their power, the fox spirits can also be tragic figures. Take Tamamo no Mi, once the most beautiful woman in the land, beloved by an emperor. Her true identity doomed her when revealed. Pursued by warriors and priests, she was slain, and her spirit imprisoned in the deadly Sesshoski, or killing stone. In 2022, the real stone cracked open after centuries, sparking superstitions and new stories about her vengeful spirit's escape, or the Gumiho's transformation. Many modern K-dramas and webtoons reimagine her as a tormented anti-heroine, wrestling with her demon side, falling in love, or sacrificing herself to save a mortal. In My Girlfriend is a Gumiho and Tale of the Nine-Tailed, popular dramas, the fox is powerful yet vulnerable, fighting destiny and hunger with heart. Chinese media has embraced Huli Jing too. Shows like Strange Tales of Liao Zhai repopularize old legends with new twists and tragic, complex characters. Beyond fiction, fox spirits are symbols deeply woven into East Asian culture. The fox stands for intelligence, danger, sexual power, and transformation. They are seen as liminal beings at the boundaries of nature and civilization, day and night, life and death. In Japan, fox masks are a mainstay at festivals. In Korea, Gumiho statues are built into bridges to ward off misfortune. And in China, Huli Jing amulets are believed to protect from evil or tempt fate. Let's dive deeper into some signature stories. A classic Huli Jing tale. In ancient China, a poor scholar showed kindness to a wounded fox, and years later, a mysterious woman appeared at his door. She nursed him through illness, brought fortune and disappeared, leaving only fox footprints in the snow. A Kitsune story. A farmer rescues a fox from a trap, and soon after, a woman appears, marries him, and brings prosperity. The marriage is happy until their child uncovers her true identity. She must return to the wild but vows to watch over her family from afar. And the Gumiho. In one folktale, a young man falls for a beautiful maiden who appears lost in the woods. Too late, he discovers her true nature, her face shifting, her teeth growing sharp. But in some stories, she cannot kill him, moved by love, and her curse is finally broken. How do these spirits fare in pop culture and modern media? The Kitsune stars in anime like Naruto in the form of the Nine-Tails Kurama, films like Spirited Away, and even global video games such as League of Legends, see Ari and Smite. Her legacy as the trickster and tragic lover resonates with millions. The Gumiho is the subject of countless Korean dramas, horror films, and novels. She's menacing but also vulnerable, with series portraying her as a lover, guardian, or even superheroine. The Huli Jing appears in Chinese TV shows, mythological epics, and fantasy dramas, always circling themes of power, beauty, ambition, and downfall. With all this, it's time to pit our three foxes head-to-head. If it's a contest of raw magical power, the Huli Jing, one could argue, reigns supreme, able to topple dynasties, possess rulers, and ascend to deific status. The political and magical cunning on display is legendary. If we judge by versatility and moral complexity, the Kitsune edges ahead. She is simultaneously a messenger of the gods, a prankster, and a tragic lover. Her suite of abilities, illusion, possession, transformation, and blessing, make her adaptable to any situation. If your focus is pure terror, the Gumiho is unrivaled. The legends say locking eyes with her means your doom. Her hunger is bottomless, and escape is only possible through miracle or her sudden change of heart. But perhaps the most important winner is the fox spirit's continued hold on our imaginations. For thousands of years, these stories have evolved, grown, and found new life in books, films, video games, and internet rumors. So who really wins? In truth, each fox spirit reigns supreme in its own domain. The Huli Jing dominates mythic China as a symbol of ambition and transformation. The Kitsune is queen of the crossroads, embodying the tricks and pains of fate in Japan. And the Gumiho rules the nights and dreams of Korea, always hungry, always changing. Yet perhaps the real victor is the listener, the one who dares to follow these tales to their mysterious, ever-shifting conclusion. The stories remind us that magic can be beautiful and terrifying, that power can bless or destroy, and that, sometimes, the fox wins simply by surviving in our dreams. If you love stories of spirits, shape-changers, and ancient myth, tell us, which fox spirit captured your imagination the most? Who do you think would win and why? And which legend should we uncover next? In a world full of magic, sometimes the greatest power is in the story itself.